10 of the world's leading countries spend more than $1 trillion on military costs each year. Only the USA spends about $600 billion, while a ridiculously small amount of money is spent on scientific expenses. For example, the budget of NASA and the National Science Foundation is $25 billion. Just think about it. It's only 4% of the annual military budget of the United States. Scientists from various fields do not cease to dream of increasing the budget in their field. Let's think about what would happen to civilization if the world's leading countries once invested an annual budget in science. What would have happened if we had just spent $1 trillion on scientific expenses today? To begin with, it is possible to build 6 separate colonies on Mars for $1 trillion. Yes, do not be surprised. The only thing that stops us from colonizing the red planet is financing. If scientists could take $1 trillion and spend 100 to 150 billion per year, then we would have 6 colonies on Mars in 10 years. And why they are needed for this is a separate topic. The next topic on our list is the internet. With $1 trillion, we could connect absolutely all the inhabitants of the planet to the network, wherever they were. Imagine that you are in the desert, or in the taiga, or in Antarctica, and you can access the internet at a speed of 1,000 megabytes per second. Do you think this is fantastic? Nope. Not so long ago, the company SpaceX announced that within 6 years, plans to put into orbit 4,425 satellites, which will be able to distribute the internet at a speed of 1 gigabyte per second across the planet. However, if the 10 leading countries of the world allocated their annual military budget for a similar project, then all this would happen much faster and better. The next topic is energy. For $1 trillion, we could make an energy breakthrough. Namely, we could finally create a nuclear fusion reactor with clean energy. Many years ago, the international consortium VITR started construction on an international experimental thermal nuclear reactor. Today, the project is financed by India, China, Korea, USA, Russia, Japan, and UE countries. When the total investment reaches 20 billion euros, it will finally be completed. But it will take about 10 more years to make a successful plasma ignition, and only somewhere in the 2030s everything has to work. But whatever it is, the main reason on which the synthesis energy cannot spread around the world, this is an extremely low investment, because the return will be only after many years. But if this could be spent $1 trillion, scientists could not only achieve nuclear fusion, but also learn to scale it and so on. They would make a revolution in the field of energy. And this means that power stations based on thermal nuclear fusion would replace stations operating on the basis of uranium fission, as well as stations that burn fossil fuels. Finally, CO2 emissions into the atmosphere would be stopped, and it would be easier to breathe. The mining of coal would be reduced. The stock of radioactive waste would be liquidated. Humanity could provide itself with energy for many years to come. Life would be safer. Thermonuclear fusion is the solution to a huge number of problems, and it's unfortunate that the main obstacle to its implementation is not physics, but poor financing. The next point is a telescope. With $1 trillion, it would be possible to build a space telescope that would be 100 times more powerful than the Hubble. At one time, Hubble became a revolutionary observatory. It still keeps up, but having a mirror diameter of 2 meters 40 centimeters, Hubble has reached its maximum resolution. And in fact, to see objects 10 times dimmer, it needs to watch 100 times longer. Even if we created a space telescope with a diameter 10 times larger, then, for a couple hours of observation, it will see as much as Hubble will see in a week. However, having $1 trillion, we could create a telescope that would be 30 times larger. Just think about how much this would advance astronomy and how many new cosmic discoveries we would have made thanks to such a miracle invention. And if we invest $1 trillion in transport, then we could install advanced autopilot systems in all vehicles. Due to complex autopilot systems, it would be possible to increase the speed of traffic on roads, since computers then would be installed in all cars, would be in the same system, and would calculate their path and speed before departure. Moreover, they would know in what traffic situations they will be at a certain time. In general, due to the improvement of the transportation situation, all trips would be shorter in time. We would spend less energy because there would be no sudden acceleration and braking, and the mortality on the roads would be reduced by 95%. But this is not enough. 500,000 people die from accidents on the road per year. Undoubtedly, you can object to me saying that all this will be created later and for much less money, and this is really true. This is undeniable. But if only 1 year's military budget of the leading countries will be spent on science, we would make a breakthrough in scientific research for the next 25 years. The technologies that we could create for this money would have made a revolution. Like, if you want $1 trillion. Subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you all for watching. Bye.